Let's talk about Severance Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. So we're going to be giving our scores, talking about what we thought of the episodes overall, and then we'll be giving a spoiler warning before we go into any spoilers. So Alex, do you want to go ahead and start and give us your thoughts on Episode 5 and 6 of Severance Season 2?
Sure, yeah. I enjoyed them. I don't think it topped the Episode 4 that we talked about, that forest episode.
I agree.
But I thought they're good continuation. I gave Episode 5 a 8 out of 10, and Episode 6, the most recent one. This episode I was a little more conflicted on because I think it could be the weakest one of the season, to be quite honest, but it also has some of like the coolest elements, in my opinion, of this season. Like, so it's, I don't know. I'm conflicted on this one, so I'm curious if my thoughts will change after I talk with you about it.
Yeah.
But I would give it a 7 or an 8, depending on how our conversation goes.
Okay.
But I'll go with 7 for now.
Okay. Interesting. I think we're definitely going to be different on that one. So
Okay.
For me, Episode 5 was pretty much the same as you. It has been like a week and a half since I've watched it, but, it was a decent episode. It did follow up Episode 4, which I gave a 10, so that, it's hard to reach those highs. So it was kind of back to like a normal episode with some interesting fallout from Episode 4 and some reactions. Still really high quality. It kept up the quality of the show, has me itching for more. I have so many questions. So this one I gave an 8, same as you. And then Episode 6, I actually really liked. It was like a slower, more character-focused episode. It had some interesting slow burn scenes that were like just between 2 or 3 people, and it really let us get to feel out those characters interacting, and through those interactions some of them felt really eerie and weird and like tense, but like in a different way than earlier. Like in Episode 4 there was like some eerie stuff, but this was a little bit more about the stuff going on between the characters, and I thought there were some really great acting moments in this episode as well. So for Episode 6 I actually gave it a 9. I really liked it.
Ooh, okay. I get what you're saying, because there are elements I really liked about Episode 6, but I also think it's the slowest in terms of, I don't know, it just seemed like but at the same time there was one thing that was happening that I was super interested in, that I think is the most interesting thing of the season. So that's why I was a little conflicted on this episode. I mean, I could give it an 8 too after we talk, or not like you. I could give it an 8. Not like you gave it a 9, right?
Yep. I did.
Yeah, I'm curious about that episode once we digest it.
This show's hard to talk about without getting into spoilers, so let's just go ahead and jump in. So spoiler alert for Severance Season 2 Episodes 5 and 6. We're about to get into some spoilers. I feel like Episode 5 and 6 really went into, 6 had like 3 separate, really interesting scenes that I think we should talk about. First, though, because it also ties into Episode 5, let's talk about Milchick. Because Milchick's scene in Episode 6 was crazy. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But Episode 5, that was when he had his review, which I thought was really interesting. And like, he talked to Natalie, and I don't know about you, but when he was talking to Natalie, her face seems to be saying something completely different than what her words are saying. It's almost like the board is listening, but she's like trying to give him a sign or something. I don't know. What did you think about that?
Yeah, because Milchick was trying to kind of ask her how she felt about it, but you can definitely tell she's being very reserved.
Yep. And that's about the paintings of Kier
that the board gave as present.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think the board's just listening or something, in her headset or something. Because there's something there. Yeah,
for sure. She seems almost terrified with her, just the way she's looking at him.
Yeah. And even in his actual review, it was just so awkward.
Yeah.
He uses too many big words, the
paper
obviously
clip
plays
thing.
in Episode 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, what was the third one? Oh, obviously with the camping trip thing that happened, which...
That would be the big one in my opinion, but it almost seemed like Milchick focused on the other two more. Yeah.
No, Milchick has become a very interesting character this season, I think.
Yeah, because that all set up in Episode 6, that scene in the mirror, which was... To me, it might have been one of my favorite parts of the episode. Well, before that, he's like paper clipping it so that he can do it right, because he got that, mark on his review. And man, like, he must have been doing that for a while, because when he stopped, his hands were shaking.
Yeah, they showed his hand shaking.
But I thought that shot in the mirror was so cool. It started off like over the shoulder, and then it must have been like a body double, and the real Milchek was like in the mirror, which was like a window, because it went straight on and then just pushed in, and he's trying to change how he talks.
Pretty much dumbing it down his words, his language.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, let him talk how he talks. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, like I said, every time we say weird at the show, take a shot. What else happened in episode 5? I don't remember specifically.
That was when they had the funeral for Irving.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then also, Mark coming to terms with Helly and Helena, and Helly figuring out what happened and that whole thing.
That's right. Yep. And then Dylan finding that painting or letter, whatever, behind the picture.
So I have a question about that, because it seemed like, so Irving left that, and he said, I think Irving said like hang in there or something to Dylan so that he knew that there was something behind that poster or whatever. But it almost seemed like the way Milchek set up the head of Irving, like looking at the poster to almost tip him off. Like, I don't know if it's true, but one of my theories is that Milchek is on their side kind of and was trying to point them in the right direction, but I don't know.
I mean, that's not a far-fetched theory. I mean, I feel like Milchek's good.
I would like that.
I would too. But I feel like that was with him saying, hang in there.
Yeah.
Like, hey, but I don't know. But maybe Milchek knew that. And that's why they had the party in that room instead of their office.
Because they did make a point, like Miss Huang, I think, said something about it being the wrong room or something, didn't she?
I think so, yeah. And then also Milchek made her leave.
Yeah, that's right.
And not play her song, which
her theremin.
I think part of it maybe was punishment, but also maybe it could be like they need to have their time and maybe they'll figure this out.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
But
interesting.
Or we're overthinking it.
Yes.
Yeah, then Mark was kind of a douche this episode. Well, not a douche, but wasn't he kind of trying to be more reserved and like, I need to just, I don't know, focus. We need to focus on work.
Yeah, he was, because he said, if we make it quick to the funeral, and was kind of avoiding Helly. I mean, he did just find out that the person he slept with wasn't who he thought, and I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
He has some reasons, but
he probably didn't want to confront it all and just focus on work. And, and then they dig in a little bit to what's happening with his Audi, like with the whole severing. Severance.
That was the end of the episode, I think, right? Where he saw
his wife.
Miss Casey, or Gemma.
Yeah.
That was a good scene.
So it did answer the question that I was talking about before, in the sense of like it doesn't work immediately, like it takes time.
Yep.
It's just weird to me they didn't, I don't know, say
make
that
clear. I think it's probably just to keep us on our back foot and not sure what's going on. Yeah.
Well, that's what I liked, going in episode 6. It played off right from episode 5. I'm like, oh, finally, I could have some sort of answers.
Yeah.
But yeah, episode 5 was good. I was going to say episode 5 and 6 definitely feel like a come down from 3 and 4, but not in a bad way.
Sure.
Like, it's more of a, like you said, character driven, like Fallout.
I think my favorite part of episode 5 was Dylan's eulogy. I don't remember exactly what he said now, but he had some great lines in there.
He did. He's funny. I love Dylan.
He's so funny.
Like I said, he says stuff that we're all thinking.
Yep.
Well, I love Dylan's innie.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that's all I really had in episode 5. Episode 6 was more, even though I gave episode 6 a lower rating, I do think it's more interesting to talk about because there's more. This is what I mean. Like, I'm just confused with the episode. So my dislikes on the episode is it felt more of the same as it just almost felt like a continuation of episode 5 in the sense of they're kind of just excluding what's his face, who's the guy that got fired, Irving.
Yeah,
the other 3 kind of, it felt like just the same, like it's confusing because it's not saying it's bad. So basically Mark and Helly, she wanted to have her tent moment or whatever, which was sweet and stuff, and then Dylan was kind of with getting more of a relationship with his wife, with his Audi's wife, which that was interesting. So like, it's all interesting stuff. It just felt a little slower paced.
It was, for sure.
Except for, I find the stuff with Mark's Severance's mind, so interesting. Like those scenes are so good. Like just the transitions and
the transition in this episode from, because at one point we're like, I think it's right after they had their tent moment, and then he just like completely transitions out to his Audi. That was a really interesting, trippy transition. And like the camera work and I don't know, it was really well done.
Like the sound and camera work.
The sound.
And like, you almost feel like confused too. You know, him saying, "Oh, what time is there?" I don't know, that whole thing. And then when he, towards the end of it, because then he was like, I'm done with this crap, like I ain't doing this no more. And then he goes to that Chinese restaurant and meets Helena.
Yeah, that was a really interesting scene.
Yeah, he definitely started remembering and recognized her, right? That's why he went back.
I think so.
But what's up with her though?
Yeah, I was gonna ask what you think she was doing there, because I have two things I think that could be.
So I have two things that I think too. My biggest thing, to be honest, is I think she's jealous of Rennie.
Yep.
I think she wants, maybe, I mean, she spent the first 4 episodes, whatever, in there, and I think she's jealous of Rennie and wants to get back at her. I think she's a spiteful person, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
But I also think, I don't want to say spying, but just curious. Obviously, Mark is important, and I think I'm not quite sure. What do you think?
So I have similar thoughts. So my first one is similar, like she's either jealous of her Innie or she's fallen for Mark. She's like in love with him and wants to check up on him and see what he's doing. And so I think that's a possibility. I also think because of that transition where we hear Miss Wong like saying, Mark, and then he's like outside, maybe something tipped them off at Lumon that he may be reintegrating. And so Helena went to check on Mark and was like, that's why she like said the name of his wife wrong, was like, kind of making digs at him, like, oh, did you eat enough? It could be she was just being sarcastic, or it could be she's like trying to get under his skin and get something to slip. So I think it could be either of those. Could be something else too, I guess. I don't know. With
like
the show
purposely saying the wrong name and kind of digging into the wife, like you said, oh, you eat enough. It could be either way. You're right. It could be just playful banter and she's just kind of spiteful but kind of likes him and she doesn't want to, kind of thing. Or it could be, she's like checking up on him because...
I don't know about you, but I felt really tense in that scene. Like when she sat down and I saw her, I was like, oh man, this is dicey with what's going on with Mark.
Yeah, I did too, And I was like, is he gonna accidentally say something or do something that will tip her off? But then he definitely remembers something because he goes back and gets that surgery that was disgusting to watch.
Yeah, which apparently all the Severeds just have a big crater in the back of their head, which is new information. That's interesting.
So you just freaking slice their skin open and there's a big hole drilled in the back of your head.
Jeez, that was pretty gross.
Oh, so gross. Like, I don't like needles, and I don't like the idea of needles getting stuck in my brain.
And there were a lot of needles at that point.
But I thought that scene was great. Like, he's like, oh, how long does it take? And immediately, boom. Again, I love the transitions. I llove the sound effects. And there's a knock on the door and his sister's coming.
Worst timing.
So like all that, like I loved. Like that to me was like almost a 10 out of 10, those scenes. Like, I find really that good. So interesting. Just the concept of him kind of knowing both. Oh, and just him going back down to the severance floor and he knows everything. It just sounds so cool to me.
Yeah, it also makes me so excited for the future, like with him speeding up his reintegration and how trippy it's going to be for a little while.
And you could play with it so much with filming, kind of like they have, right? Where it just transitions to the Audi and you're like, what the heck happened, kind of thing. Oh, so good. I'm very curious where the rest of the season's going. Because the other aspect I liked was with Irving.
Yes, Irving and Bert.
It was creepy. It was weird. I can't say that big word of the show. It was just ominous. Like, there was a point where his husband was like, he's been with Lumon for 20 years. Like, but I'm like, what? There's something going on. And just the way that Christopher Walken his facial expressions almost seemed sinister.
Yeah, he did look sinister. Yep.
And then it would transition to just like a joke or a laugh. But I'm like, he's saying he's a bad guy. And the reason he went in there is, they say at his church, his pastor said, innies can go to heaven. So his husband wanted at least one of Christopher Walken's character. I don't remember his character's name.
Bert.
Bert, one of Bert's, he wanted at least some form of Bert in heaven. And so I found that kind of interesting because I never thought about it like the religious aspect.
Yeah, that was it, kind of out of nowhere, but it is interesting thinking of how religions would be impacted by that kind of technology.
It's so weird because like you're one person, so aren't you one soul? So how is your innie or outie can your soul split? I mean, this is like more philosophical.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is an interesting thought.
It is.
But yeah, I don't know. What did you think of that scene?
Especially the 20 years ago and how like they were saying severed floor started 12 years ago or something. I definitely think there's something more going on with Bert. I think either he is working with Lumon and still is as kind of like an inside man kind of thing, which would, I guess, play into the second one that I'm going to bring up is maybe he's not actually severed.
Okay. What if I'll go one step farther. What if he's like Helena's dad? Like, what if he's the one who actually runs the company? Have we seen, I don't know, have we seen a picture of it? Oh.
Well, we do see that old guy in one of the episodes.
Yeah, unless he's just a front.
Because we do see this guy.
That's true. You're right. I forgot. There's something. I get what you're saying, because that whole, like, he was, getting mad at his drunk husband. Like, you had too much to drink. Don't listen to him. 20 years.
I don't believe the fact, because he tried to play it off like, oh, he's old. He forgets what year it is. Like, I don't believe that for a second.
No. Yeah. The husband seemed almost spiteful, too, didn't he? Didn't he kind of seem like, I don't care?
Yeah, there were some weird dynamics going on, for sure.
Very weird. And before, Bert had that innocent old man feel, but this episode, it was the opposite, man. He felt like there's something dark in him.
Yeah,
which I guess he even mentioned, like, I had a dark history.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's why he can't get into heaven.
Yeah, the facial expressions and, his husband was laughing or even Irving was chuckling. You could just see him staring. I'm like, what? That was interesting. That was weird. Like, I don't know where they're going at there.
It's interesting that Irving was able to find Bert. Or how was Bert able to find Irving? Like, I don't know. There's something more going on with them being able to find each other as outies.
Well, Irving was at his house, right, when he transitioned, right? So maybe that's how he just remembered there. But I don't know how Bert keeps finding out where Irving is. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how would they, even if some random person showed up at your door and then they ran off, like, how would you find them? Yeah, there's something else going on.
I'm telling you, man, this is some dystopian future, and this is the last of a small town.
Maybe.
I get such a claustrophobic feel with this show.
Part of that's even the with the Audis. But yeah, even the Audis, it does still feel like that.
You notice, like, and I don't know if it's just a stylistic choice, but whenever they're with your Audis, it's always so dark. I'm not talking like it's nighttime, but the houses are dark. They just have lamps on. It's always so dark. I think it's more of a stylistic, but
inside's all like bright LED, clean, like working environment. It is very different, you're right.
It was weird when Mark did his little transition thing, you could see when they were talking to, I think it was Helly in the break room, and he was transitioning to see his like house. You remember that? And it was like daytime. Like, have we seen this house? It's been a while since we seen the house in the daytime. Or it's rare when we do at least.
Yeah.
That's a good point with Bert. How does Bert know where Irving is? Maybe it's not severed. Maybe his husband thinks he is, or he was.
I think if he's not severed, I think his husband definitely thinks he is severed. But why? Yeah, why is he working? Yeah. If that's true, what is the point?
Although if his husband knew it's been 20 years, and Bert, I'm sure Bert's told him that to say it's only been 12 years. It seemed like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and if he's not severed, why was he let go last season?
Unless he was like, maybe not obviously the head of the company, but maybe he was like Helena and like just went down there unsevered just to spy on.
Yeah, and then they decided it was enough. I don't know. Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But it was interesting. Yeah, that aspect and Mark's time illusion back forth severance thing, surgery thing was super interesting. It was just all the other stuff that was it wasn't bad. Like, it was good character development. I get it. Like, yeah,
like thinking about it, it was a lot of just 2 people or 3 people talking. Like almost every scene, it was like Mark and Helly with the tent thing, and then it switches to, or just one person, Milchek, talking to himself, and then Helena and Mark.
What's his face?
Gretchen
with his wife.
Yep, Gretchen and Dylan. So that's probably why it felt slow. I liked those conversations, but it was a lot of just 2 people talking.
It was definitely, it was good conversations for sure. I just preferred a couple more. I mean, the Dylan and his wife, For me, I find the concept interesting because it's kind of, I mean, she's fallen in love with the same person, but not the same person.
Yeah.
But as much as I find that concept interesting, it's very predictable. So like, I didn't really get any excitement from that conversation because I kind of knew where that was heading.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do, like I said, I find the concept interesting. It's just, like you said, there's kind of no surprises there. And then the Helena and Mark, I mean, it was cute, sweet, you know, but it was just more intimate. Again, it's not bad. It's just nothing that drives the story forward. I mean, I guess you're deepening the characters, but it was good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it.
It might not be everybody's favorite episode.
Yeah, like I still think it's probably one of, like I said, the weaker episodes in my opinion of the season. But like, it's still not bad, you know, at all.
This show is just so good.
Yeah, like obviously, even if I give it a 7, that's like a freaking above average. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have how many episodes are going to be in the season?
I think 10.
So we have 4 more episodes. Okay. Yeah, 4 more episodes. Hopefully we don't have to wait 2 years again.
Yeah, I agree.
I did see that this show, I believe like the premiere, it like broke Apple TV's record of most watched premiere. I think it beat Ted Lasso.
Yeah, it feels like a lot more people are watching it now. Like first season kind of seemed not as big, so that's good.
Yeah, it's their biggest show now on Apple TV.
That's cool.
Because I see a lot of people talking about this show now. It's kind of like, it has that good, I like to call it water cooler talk show.
For sure.
You get to work and like, did you guys watch that episode? Like, what the hell were those goat people? Like, you know?
Yeah, it's got those mysteries to talk about, like Lost.
Yeah, like Lost, exactly.
Is it purgatory? No.
What are they doing? What's up with these numbers? Why they have to do it by feeling? Yeah, it is weird. Like seriously, like all these freaking. And why is Mark so important?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's funny because both shows are talking about the main character is Mark.
Yeah, true. I didn't even think of that. Huh.
But I know.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was great. I'm excited. But yeah, there's nothing else really I had in my notes.
I think I'm good on that too.
Other than what we mentioned is I think the imagery and the transitions between were great in episode 6.
Yeah, for sure.
Loved it.